everybody. I hope you're not sleeping yet, actually, because there is autumn nowadays. There's a great weather. I like autumn, but there is a con that you always want to sleep. At the morning, at the day, and at the evening, especially after 2 hours of listening some stuff. Maybe interesting, maybe not. So I'll try to make it fast and interesting. I hope you don't look like this all, because she wants to sleep. It's obvious.
Not good makeup.
Yeah, if you're looking, just drink a coffee. So I want to ask you a few questions. It's like a regular quiz for me. Please just signalize somehow who are developers here. Okay, that's good. I want to ask you something about the books. I mean the regular paper books. What do you think about them? Because nowadays I think that it's rather a bit old stuff, because there is a lot of other ways to know information, to get information, internet, some big words, anything. But the books, who of you, but talking honestly, who of you at the past year reading at least one real book from the beginning to the end? That's very good. So, for me personally, when I was a child, I loved reading. The reading was my all. I spent almost all my free time on reading, and that's why the books were my best friend, and they're still such till nowadays. So now I want you to tell you about the one idea of one startup that was born a few days or few weeks ago. The author of idea is Alexei. He's here, yeah, and we both work at one company. We are both programmers, and sometimes when we went to smoke, we discussed some stuff, and the idea burned here and was born here, and we discussed on it. We developed it. Some new sub ideas appeared at that process, and now I want to share it with you, to see your opinion, to listen some feedback from you. It would be very useful for us. So just let me present our small team. Now we are 5 who involved in this project. First is Alexei. You see it. He's a full stack developer in our project. He is fond of JavaScript, and he is actually the main author of that idea. I will talk a bit later about what this idea is. Lexi Valer, he worked at EPAM Systems. He also is a full stack developer. That is marketing manager Alexei Urbaniak. And 2 more members. Ievgenii Bogdanov, UI/UX, he will do UI/UX design. And me full stack also. So let's pass to the main idea of our startup. So, Reading Nation. Talking about Reading Nation, I want to tell that it's very. I have a lot of pain when I see how it's going in our country with education, because from year to year it slowed down, and I'm afraid of that. At some period, it will be just no education at all. So the idea is not to. The idea of the startup, the main goal of the startup, is not to earn some money, I don't know, but to involve as many people from our country as possible to share books with each other. So let me try to explain how it works. Let's say you're a new user of our system. That is the scheme of the system. Let's say that you're a new user and you want to register in our system. So when you're trying to register in our system, there are some other users that are already in our system. And when you're registering, our system will choose one of the existing users and link it with you. So when you finish registration, you will become a user, new user, and some other user from the system will be linked with your entity. Then you will get the possibility to add books for you. Each user have his personal bookshelf. It's just a list of books. On this stage, you are to send at least one book to the people you was chosen at the stage of the registration. And when you complete this challenge, you will become the real user of the system, and actually you will be next time when some other user came, you will be counted and you could be selected from these users to receive the book. But the system selects one user for each, link it, and you will send him a book, and that is how people will share books between each other in that system. Later, when you are already a regular user of a system, you just can register more and more books. You can just extend your own shelf. There would be social elements, like you can post your favorite books, for example, for people to see what are you fond of, what they are interested in. Also, I want to tell that when the system selects which book and to which send, it will be based on the interest of each people, so it will have some kind of natural, some kind of artificial intelligence to select something like that. So it will analyze all your interests and will choose the appropriate book and the appropriate target for you.
Nice.
Yes.
What if you have no interest in books? For example, you read some very special literature which nobody wants, or like some women novels. So if you're registered as programmer and all another your friends are programmers, and if you have all works of Daria Dontsova, for example, so who will read? Who will need your literature? No, your books.
Alexei, you're welcome to answer.
One thing that any user could add all books that he has at our own bookshelf, which he don't need anymore, and share with others. So maybe I move in some another way of your question, but
if nobody needs books I have. No, for example, you like geography, and now not so many people are fans of geography or
But it's
archaeology.
The main idea is that any user which registered in our system, he will promise for everybody that he will read at least one book for next month. And this we can't we can check what book you will send, but this book which you receive, you can post to our system and notify all other guys that you can send it back to some another guy.
That's an interesting question, thank you. I want to clarify that how it's now, it's up to discussion, because that is the main goal of this presentation, to discuss issue. That is very interesting.
Will it be paper books or electronic?
First we thought about the paper books, but later when we discussed, we decided to change to generalize it for any books like audio books. You can add also some video materials maybe. So it would be not just a book sharing platform, but in future it would be grown like
Some
exchange
information
platform for
sharing.
different categories of items, like for clothes, for example.
So
The main idea of this personal shell, you will have some kind of different shells, for example, for books, for clothes. The main purpose is to add some stuff that that does not need anymore. For example, you have a lot of books that you've already read, and you want to share it with public. You just add it here, and then you can send it to anyone.
And physically, how it will be done? If I would like to send.
It's up to you. When the system will just send him this book, you are to send it via any way. For example, via post or some services of
Nova Post?
post service. For example, yes. And later, when the target person will receive this book, he will just mark some yes, I receive, and the system will count it.
I have some questions. For example, how we can check if the book is read? So we have to add some questions, key questions to the reader with the book. Some questions about how we could check that he does not cheat the system. This is the first question. And the second question, as you know, book is your property, and you paid royalty percent to an author when you buy a book. But when you send the book to read someone, you face two legal issues. When, for example, your property can bring harm to someone else. For example, for an author, when a book is scanned and is spread through internet and royalties are not paid, for example, or another sort of harm.
Yes, it's also interesting.
Technically, the book is not copied. So,
Yes.
for example, if you buying the film
I don't
and
think
you
that
watch
you
it with your
need
entire
some
family,
additional permissions to present the book to each person. It's a kind of present. Actually.
It's like a kind of license. When you buy a book, you have a license to use it. No, you cannot, for example, if you buy some software, you cannot give this license to somebody another, even if you don't need this
this is not a
software.
good comparison
Because
the
book
different
is
sets of
already
law.
bought, and you
Yeah,
can
right.
just give it like a present to somebody.
Yes, but which law can link me with the books that I've bought?
So maybe you should have some agreement, additional agreement to move the rights to read this book with the book.
No, you need to check it because it's borrowing. It's not.
It's okay, he borrowed the book,
No, it's
but you did
ma-
not make any harm
important question.
and did not make copies. But a person who borrowed a book from you made some copies and spread it. So it's quite a big legal issue.
Yeah, but it.
But the book actually is owned by you, and you have to
Be responsible.
be responsible.
Because if he do something illegal, he will, no, all responsibility will
using
be on
your
you.
property.
So you're
It's not a big question that.
yeah.
can
So
be
you're
discussed,
against the
but
moment when you're present the book when you move a book to another person, then you transfer actually.
Yeah. That ownership.
Maybe some kind of small agreement, just electronic one with the saying
think
that I agree that
It's
I
an important
won't-
question, but I think it could be fixed with some kind of agreement proposed
And
to the user of the
physical
system.
book has ability to be out of its original fit. For example, some pages can be absent, or some
Yeah,
other
We are also to
material
track
can-
the stance of the book
Mhm.
at all the stages of these exchanges. So with each book would be a field like will indicate the states, missed page, something like that.
When you receive a book, you should mark.
Yeah, should approve the
what's wrong
state
with
of
it.
this book. Yeah, yes, that makes sense also. And the other question,
The first question is how we can check if a person read a book.
yeah, it's up to the user of the system to trust, because Alexei, what do you think about that?
What's the reason to mark the book as already read? If you
Because you
didn't
said you
get
are
the-
to read at least one book.
It's
you
rather
need
challenge
to
for yourself,
you
not
need
for system.
not to read one book. You need to send one book, and
Ah.
you promise that you will read at least one book. But read or not, it's
It's
your
up to
choice.
you. Yeah. So the fact of reading or not reading the book does not influence on the process of exchanging.
But also we will have some mark that the book is already read, and that means that
The
this
system
book would be shared with others.
prepares it to be sent.
Also, we thought about some mechanism of involving new users. We did talk about it.
It's we'll move to потом.
And
Yeah,
for
we
example, if I don't own a book but put this into the system that I'm the owner of this book, and for example, I'm a student and I let's say took this book from a library and put it into the system.
But when you are putting the book in the system, you just create an virtual entity. What is proposed for you to cheat in here? I don't understand actually. Okay, you're taking the
Maybe
book at the
I-
school library.
I
Then you
thought
create
about
it.
applying the system to a school or a university.
Yes, but later when the system will ask you to send this book to somehow, you cannot send it and it
It's like a torrent net for library. Library was the central element in this net, but you want to organize something like a direct connection between system elements.
Actually, library is a good example. How do they legally borrow the book?
I mean, that before you had to take a book from the library, then give it back, and another person who wanted to borrow a book had to go to the library to borrow it. But without the library, you organize like a torrent net where connections are not centralized but spread through
Yes,
the elements of the
yeah,
system.
I got it. I got your question. So what? Yeah, the system would be decentralized actually. So people will be exchanging like peer-to-peer connections. So it's not a problem for me. Not seems
It's not
like
a
a problem.
It's advantage of the system. You don't waste time to go to the
Yeah,
library.
there is no general query for. So let's see maybe how how I'm going to implement this, how we're going to, which technologies would be used, what we're choosing. And so let's say you are a user, that is your client. On the client side, we are using the regular HTML pages with JTemplate to make JavaScript injections. That client would be maybe single page application, maybe not. We're still not decided, but we're thinking about some mixing these two concepts. And we will be hosting at Amazon Cloud. At the server side, we are using MongoDB and Express.js based on the Node.js server. So this system are going to be highly scalable, and let's say we will have millions of users that want to exchange books. Then we can just easily scale it here and here, horizontally, just by new instances, increase computing powers. Actually, that's it. I want a bit more questions from you to discuss. And thank you for your attention. for the most strongest of you, it's still there.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck.
I think the main worry about it is that drug dealers who use the books just name it like and pass it, and I think it's the perfect way to do it. That was my first thought. Don't want to be spoiled, but
Currency changers and
yes,
weapons
and they will
sellers.
call it like some kind
Different names for different
of
brands.
Sonic.
Lucky.
And it's a direct exchange, where cool platform. Thank you, everyone. The strongest.